PM leads team to Bahamas and Haiti following Hurricane Matthew. Government values teachers and police investigate weapons shipped to Dominica. Thank you for joining us on National Focus. I'm Shaakira, Pierre.
And I'm Kerdisha St. Louis. Stay with us for details of these and other stories after this.
Children, yell and tell. If someone tries to abuse you, tell until someone believes you and they do something about it.
For more information on child abuse or to report suspected cases on child abuse, contact the Social Welfare Division on 33 Great Marlborough Street or call 266-3020 or 266-3080.
Welcome back. The Honorable Prime Minister and Chairman of CARICOM, Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, heads a contingent of officials on Monday on a fact-finding mission bound for Haiti and the Bahamas, the two Caribbean countries hardest hit by Hurricane Matthew last week. The Dominica leader was the first to officially acknowledge the devastation and announced on Friday, October 7, 2016, in an address to the nation, the establishment of a national Hurricane Matthew disaster relief effort to be spearheaded in Dominica by the private sector. This is the region's first response effort to assess the level of destruction wreaked on those system member states of the regional integration and economic movement. Honorable Dr. Skerrit will be accompanied from Dominica by Government Advisor on Disaster Management, Cecil Shillingford, and will be joined en route to the Bahamas by CARICOM Secretary General Erwin Larrock, Executive Director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA, Ronald Jackson, and other technical staff. The Honorable Prime Minister recalled that just over 1 year ago, Dominica was ravaged by the passage of Tropical Storm Erica, and that it was CARICOM member states and international partners that came to Dominica's immediate assistance. He appealed to the private sector of Dominica to be proactive in lending support, suggesting that he wanted Dominica to be in a position to dispatch help to Haiti and the Bahamas by this weekend. Since that address by the Prime Minister, the death toll in Haiti alone has risen to close to 1,000, and it is feared that this number will continue to rise given that several areas are still not accessible to rescue teams. Meanwhile, Bahamas has suffered considerable damage to its roads and housing infrastructure. The Dominica leader also said in his address that he would be paying close attention to the impact of Hurricane Matthew on the United States of America. Businesses and individuals in Dominica who would want to contribute to the national appeal effort have been advised to liaise with the Office of Disaster Management, the Red Cross or other agencies, and to make their initial pledge, followed by actual donations during the course of this week. Honorable Dr. Skerrit is expected to update the nation and the wider region on his observations and interactions with his Haitian and Bahamian counterparts on his return from the disaster-stricken nations.
In more news, a national consultation on developing a national brand for fresh produce in Dominica was held on Friday, October 7th with the key stakeholders such as the DHTA, CARDI, Invest Dominica Authority, as well as representatives of farmers. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Harold Geist, gave more details.
The whole idea is to be able to have Dominica's fresh produce in the regional and extra-regional market to be distinguished from produce from other countries, so that consumers can identify themselves with the very good product that comes from Dominica. And this is something we have wanted to promote and to expose, that Dominica indeed has very high quality and very good tasting, good texture, color and everything in our fresh produce.
The Permanent Secretary believes that this consultation is timely as the world is looking towards purchasing more fresh produce.
This morning we were looking at various designs, and to be able to come up with one that represents the excellent quality of the produce that comes from Dominica, and as a result, Dominica will be known in the marketplace for top quality natural food, healthy food, and especially now with the consciousness of health and wellness, we stand a very good chance of being able to sell our commodities in that way.
This consultation was held in collaboration with the Dominica Export-Import Agency Dextia and is spearheaded by the Promotion of Regional Opportunities through Enterprise and Linkages Propel project. According to Agribusiness and Marketing Coordinator for the OECS, Dr. Nadia Paquette Anselm.
Propel aims to increase the volume of fresh produce reaching high-value markets. And this is not something that we're only doing in terms of satisfying domestic market needs, but we're looking at export needs as well. And we've done over the last year or so, we've done a number of business case studies and market studies, primarily looking at opportunities for fresh produce export trade out of Dominica. And one of the markets that we've actually done a lot of work in is the Barbados market. So we've developed a business case, and Propel has identified Windward Commodities as consultants who are very much versed in branding, international branding. They've done a number of branding activities and branding of products, international products for entities such as Sol and other entities within the region and extra-regionally. And primarily they've done a number of branding for fresh produce products as well.
She revealed that this project is one that has been ongoing, and the consultation allowed for further tightening of the final brand presentation.
So what we've done today is present to them some case studies of how branding actually benefited a number of countries and a number of private sector entities within the region, and also zeroing in on a number of branding options for Dominica's fresh produce. But this activity had started a couple of months ago, because what we've done before is also look at underlying branding effects or activities that will cushion a branding component for Dominica. So we've had discussions, one-on-one discussions with a number of key stakeholders months prior to today's discussion, whereby we zeroed in on some major concepts. I think initially we had zeroed in on some six concepts, and today we've presented 3 concepts. Some of the major areas we've looked at are areas of health benefits, areas of quality standards, in terms of putting together a brand. So I'm hoping after today's discussion we can actually zero in on one brand that we can present and you know, change to suit what the stakeholders have given us today in terms of feedback, and we can actually present a national brand for Dominica.
Managing Director of Windward Commodities and Global Specialist in Branding Commodity Product, Chris Doherty, remarked on the importance of the national brand representing Dominica in a positive way.
One of the things we talked about, and with branding it's always quite subjective, so everyone has a different opinion about branding. It's quite an emotional debate. Was talking about the ways that we could present Dominica produce, and I think what was interesting was that I think generally the consensus is Dominica has one of the highest numbers of centenarians in the world, and one of the things which is very important to consumers everywhere these days with rising heart disease and obesity and all those lifestyle diseases is to be healthy, and that's what happens if you eat a lot of fresh produce. So I think one of the things which came out was it's great to emphasize that to consumers in other countries, that if you eat Dominica produce that this will add as part of a healthy lifestyle. And I suppose where the challenges are is to make sure that what the branding we do is really representative of Dominica, so people are proud of the brand here as well as it's selling well for consumers overseas.
GIS News will bring you more on that story in a subsequent newscast.
The Dominica Police Force is currently investigating weapons intercepted at the Woodbridge Bay Port on Friday, September 30th, 2016. At a press conference on Friday, the Chief of Police, Daniel Carbon, made a statement with reference to guns and ammunition intercepted by the Dominica Police Force in collaboration with law enforcement of the United States of America. The police chief revealed that the 2 teams conducted the operation at the port, which resulted in the interception of a barrel which contained groceries. The search of the contents of the barrel was conducted by members of the drug squad in the presence of the Customs and Excise Authority and the Port Authority. A total of 12 firearms, 830 rounds of ammunition, 3 magazines and 1 stunt gun was found in the bottom of the barrel.
Firearms, 5 Taurus pistols, 1 Keltec pistol, 5 Taurus revolvers, 1 Rossi revolver. Ammunition, 180 rounds of 7.62 round of ammunition, 250 rounds of 9mm ammunition, 300 rounds of .38 ammunition, 100 rounds of 357 ammunition. Magazines, 1 7-round magazine, 1 12-round magazine, 1 29-round submachine gun magazine. Stun gun, 1 9 million volt stun gun.
The police chief revealed that although they know the identity of the individual in question, they are requesting the assistance of the public to locate that individual. Meanwhile, Chief Carbon explained that at his discretion, subject to the regulations in the Firearms Act, which makes provision for different categories of people to import firearms, he has the authority to grant import permits.
The Chief of Police is responsible for granting import permits to import ammunition and firearm into the state. The forms, the prescribed forms, are available at the Criminal Investigations Department. If you're interested in acquiring a firearm, I would advise that before you import the firearm, it is better to seek a license to possess a firearm. Because bringing in a firearm into the state, whether you bring it through an import permit, providing that the chief approves it, or you bring it with the expectation that you will get a license for it, it is better you seek the license and seek approval from the chief of police by granting you the license, and so following which an import permit will be granted to you.
He stated that the Dominica Police Force wants to ensure the safety and security of all citizens and visitors to Dominica and wants to prevent the loss of life through criminal activity.
Director of Trade Mathan Walter is calling on members of the Dominica Arts and Craft Producers Association to license their product to prevent their formulas from being duplicated. Walter spoke to the DACPA members at a handing over ceremony of equipment on Tuesday. The Director of Trade told those present that many of them have skills and special processes involved to achieve their final products, such as soaps and candles, but their formulas are not protected.
Persons can come down, take a look at your processes, and then go abroad and take advantage of it to no benefit of yours. There is a Companies and Intellectual Properties office directly opposite the St. Martin's School, and you can go there, sit with the registrar. She is warm and friendly and has a lovely smile, and she will engage you, show you the forms, tell you what you need to do to register your production processes.
He had a suggestion for those who do not have the production capacity to produce large quantities of their products.
There are persons, for example, in the United States and Canada who love your product and who have the capacity, skill, the machinery to produce it in large quantities out there. If your product or your process is licensed, you can contract that license or allow them to utilize your production processes under license, and they pay you a certain percentage of the dollar they make or any particular agreement that you come to in your contract. And while you stay here at home doing your production for domestic use, there are persons out there selling and making your product, and money is arriving on your bank account. As a friend of mine just said to me, you shouldn't work harder, you should work smarter.
The Dominica Arts and Craft Producer Association was established 7 years ago. You're watching National Focus. More when we return.
Let's have some fun, eh?
I'm not ready for your kind of fun yet.
But everybody else is doing it.
But I'm not everybody else. I'm me, and I want to do well in school.
Well, you definitely get an A for attitude.
I plan to get an A in life, and then I'll think of your kind of fun.
So what am I to do in the meantime?
You'll survive.
Say no when you're not ready. Use condoms when you are.
Welcome back. The Honorable Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, Pierre, has reminded teachers that the opportunities provided by this Labour Party administration demonstrates that teachers are valued. On Friday, the Dominica Teachers Association held a rally in Saint-Sauveur in celebration of World Teachers' Day under the theme, Valuing Teachers, Improving Their Status. Honorable Seja says maintaining the status of teachers in society should be a collective effort of the Ministry of Education and educators. He told teachers that they are the keepers of their profession and their actions and inactions directly impact how they are perceived by the public. Government, he says, plays its part by providing the opportunities of which teachers should take advantage.
This government has invested significant sums in education and human resource development. So as professionals, you must therefore make use of such opportunities. I urge you, avail yourselves to scholarships when advertised and seek your own avenues for continuous professional development.
He says over the past 4 years, countless opportunities have been presented for the advancement of teachers. He went on to list a few.
Over 500 teachers were trained locally through workshops of various consultancies under the Dominica Education Enhancement Project. 46 teachers received scholarships and have completed studies at the certificate, first degree, postgraduate diploma, and master's level, and are now back in our classrooms. The government of Dominica has been investing in teacher development by meeting up to 90% of training costs for teachers. In the recent past, approximately 300 teachers were trained.
He added that under the multi-grade consultancy, 54 teachers and 17 principals were trained to deliver more effective instruction in the classroom. Also, 71 grade 2 teachers and 60 principals were trained under the numeracy consultancy.
Currently, 25 principals, deputy principals, and senior teachers are studying for a Master's of Science degree in Management and Education Leadership at the University of the West Indies, sponsored by the government of Dominica. The 2-year online degree program aims to strengthen the academic abilities, skills, and the professional competences of participants.
The Honorable Minister also noted that during the 2015-2016 academic year, 104 appointments were made within the teaching service. Honorable Seja says these examples highlight the extent to which government values the teachers of Dominica. He asked the educators to strive to be good teachers to secure the future of the nation. Dominica joined the rest of the world to observe World Mental Health Day on October 10th. The overall objective of this day is raising awareness of mental health issues around the world and mobilizing efforts in support of mental health. GIS's Kerdisha St. Louis spoke with Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Psychological Society in observance of this day.
We're speaking with Ms. Leslie Ann Waldron in the capacity as Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Psychological Society, and we know that Dominica is celebrating World Mental Health Day today. So Ms. Waldron, can you give us a little bit of background on World Mental Health Day?
Okay, World Mental Health Day was first celebrated in 1992, October 10th, and it has been celebrated on that date from then. This year's World Mental Health Day theme is Dignity in Mental Health, Psychological and Mental Health First Aid for All.
Okay, so what does this mean for Dominica participating in today's observance?
As a matter of fact, I believe that the theme is very timely in reference to the fact that we had Erica, Tropical Storm Erica last year, and the Dominica Psychological Society is still working with survivors of Tropical Storm Erica. So when we speak about psychological and mental health first aid, we're looking at the actually getting people to be reintegrated into their communities. So we're looking at reintegration into independent living, because we know that a lot of the people who actually suffered loss after Tropical Storm Erica, specifically people from Jubic and Petit Savan, they lived within shelters, so now they're actually going back into their private and independent living. And with psychosocial first aid, it is a way to get people to work within their community setting, dealing with the actual psychological or mental health issues related to trauma. And one of the things that psychosocial and mental health first aid does is that it removes the stigma related to mental health situations and psychological challenges, because people try a lot of times to avoid going to units, actually meeting with psychologists, psychiatrists, etc. So we're trying to equip the people within the community setting to work with their community members.
And do we think that mental health should be on the same level as physical health?
Yes, we think so, because there is a significant stigma related to mental health, and that's one of the objectives of the Dominica Psychological Society, to help in breaking the stigma related to mental health, and also World Mental Health Day, that's one of the objectives. We would like Dominicans to know that mental health, mental illness should be seen as something equal to physical health. There's no health without good mental health. And if we were able to identify with that and realize that it is not something that happens in isolation, it's something that could happen to you or myself, Kerdisha, and we're looking at trying to promote good mental health, psychological health, knowing that help is available. The Dominica Psychological Society is available for private help, and also looking at within communities, doing group sessions and so.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Waldron.
You're welcome.
Coming up next, your tip of the day.
There is a silent, invisible killer in our midst, a killer which largely goes unnoticed as it plies its deadly trade. Its name is secondhand tobacco smoke, which has a far greater impact on persons inhaling this poison than on smokers themselves. Second-hand tobacco smoke is especially detrimental in public places and negatively impacts our national health as well as public health expenditure. Stop this invisible killer now. Say no to second-hand tobacco smoke in public places. A public health message brought to you by the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization.
Here are some tips to boost your mental health. 1. Take time to laugh. 2. Show some love to someone in your life. And 3. Work your strengths.
4. Start your day with a cup of coffee. 5. Practice forgiveness. And 6. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm.
Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow our Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel.
Live streaming is also available on our YouTube channel 24 hours a day. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Kerdisha St. Louis.
And I'm Shaakira Pierre. Thanks for watching, and join us again next time on National Focus.